into the Mercy Health matchup. I'm Richard Skinner along with Tom Gamble as we preview the games in the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown.
Yes, this is the second of two games we've got on the opening Friday night in Ohio, and just so you go to the right place. If you go to Reading's campus, you'll see a new school. But if you go there looking for a football game, they're going to have to tell you where to go. It's at Veterans Memorial Stadium, which is not far.
Two Division V teams both finished 4-6 a year ago. Purcell Marian, though, switching leagues. They're going from the GCL Co-Ed into the Miami Valley Conference. And if you look, probably a good move. They were playing a lot of bigger schools, a lot of division, not just up one division,
correct,
up two divisions. This gets them a little bit more familiarity, at least from a class standpoint.
Well, Purcell Marian and Roger Bacon both now in the Miami Valley Conference, and you mentioned that they played 6 Division III teams last year. This year they'll play 2. And Dave Worth taking over. You know, he's been around and he's won really wherever he's been, and he's now trying to get the Cavaliers back on track. And, you know, we mentioned this when we talked about Mount Healthy Tippecanoe. This is another one. If you're looking to kind of turn the corner and you're looking to get off on the right foot and make a stake at the playoffs, it helps to win the game week 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what Purcell did last year, they were 3-0 outside the league.
Correct.
And inside the league, they were simply playing bigger schools. So it
Absolutely.
shows you if you're Dave Worth and you're Purcell Marian, you're probably in a spot maybe where you can make a run at the playoffs because you are playing some teams just of like enrollments.
Yeah, and Cody Reardon, when you look at Reading, you know, when you look at that conference and you see the Wyoming and the Indian Hills at the top, and, you know, Mariemont's been pretty darn good, Madeira's been good, and Reading historically, somebody told me that you might see a number 7 running around the sideline trying to get on the field. I don't know if he still has any academic eligibility.
That guy's still living his glory days, I believe.
Well, he doesn't have to go far,
That's
right,
true.
to get there, but he did wear number 7,
He
right?
did.
15 at UC, we're referencing, of course, Reading alum and an outstanding QB during his days there, won Tony Pike.
A couple players to watch for Purcell Marian. Two-way player Lawrence Christian had 7 interceptions a year ago. That's hard to do, even as much as guys are throwing the football in high school. And Zach Hoover, the quarterback, Dave Worth, he loves to run a wide-open offense. They will throw the ball around. He threw for over 2,000 yards and 17 touchdowns. On the other hand, Reading, they got a lot to replace. They got to replace just about everybody, at least from the skill position standpoint.
Yeah, and as you well know, at a small school, when you have to replace those type of positions, it doesn't make it any easier. But I know, you know, Cody Reardon's done a great job since taking over and has that program headed in the right direction. So I think this has got the chance to be a really good game for both, and one that it wouldn't shock me if either team came out victorious.
A couple players to watch for Reading. Caleb Embry, a two-way player who can play some running back and wide receiver as well. And Tanner Cromer, a tight end and linebacker. Just a couple of guys. He's a senior, Cromer is. A couple of guys to watch. All right, Tom, where can people find out more information on not just this game, but all the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown games?
Anything and everything you want to know Showdown related, you can go to our event website, xtownshowdown.com, or you can follow us on Twitter. We'll have updates from the games too, quarter scores, anything and everything you need at Xtown Showdown. Either one of those will keep you up to date on the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown. And coming up next, it's time for the Mercy Health Huddle, your source for health information for your student athlete.
Hi again, everybody. We're here with Dr. Brian Ridinghouse from Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Doc, we're talking athletics, and with athletics, unfortunately, knee injuries happen. Specifically today, we want to talk about the PCL. Can you explain to us exactly what the PCL is?
Yeah, the PCL is the posterior cruciate ligament. It's one of the 2 ligaments in the center of the knee. The other ligament is the anterior cruciate ligament, which is a little bit more well known. PCL is the strongest ligament in the knee, and it's also the least common injury. About 5% or less of knee injuries are going to involve the PCL.
So with that said, then what are some of the ways that you can injure the PCL?
So for an athlete, the most common way that they're going to injure the PCL is imagine an athlete running and another player coming and running right into the front of their knee. So driving that tibia or the bottom leg posterior on the knee. The other way would be an athlete falling to the turf with a bent knee, jamming the front of that knee on the turf, driving that knee posteriorly.
So you think maybe you injured the PCL. How exactly do you diagnose a PCL injury?
So initially we'll examine the athlete. There's a few exam findings that will make us suspicious of a potential PCL injury. And if that's the case, usually we'll get x-rays and then we'll use an MRI to definitively make that diagnosis.
And if you do get that diagnosis that comes through, how do you treat a PCL injury?
So we can treat PCL injuries either operatively or non-operatively. When the PCL is the only structure in the knee injured, usually we can treat it non-operatively. And the way we do that is with bracing and physical therapy. When there are multiple structures in the knee involved, whether it be other ligaments or the meniscus that are involved in the injury, many times we do have to treat it operatively.
So depending on the severity of the injury, then how much time can an athlete expect to miss if they get that injured PCL?
Sure. So we grade PCL injuries from 1 to 3, 1 being the least severe are the injuries. With a grade 1 injury, many times 2 to 4 weeks we can get an athlete back with bracing and rehabilitation. The more severe injuries, you're looking more about 3 to 4 months of non-operative treatment with bracing and rehabilitation. Surgical treatment, you're usually looking about 9 to 12 months to get an athlete back.
Well, we're hoping for the best. Unfortunately, injuries do happen. Great information today, Doc. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
When it hurts to move, what often hurts most is the fact that you can't. Because every rebound is calling your name, and every dance should be danced. It's in moments like these that we step in to help you step back off the sidelines. Because it takes two to tango in this life, and you are meant to be the one. Mercy Health, healthcare for the universe of you. Find an orthopedic doctor at mercy.com/ortho.